Today on Investigate TV Plus, when planes crash, trains derail, and lives are lost, there's an agency we turn to for answers.
If the NTSB does not have people at these crashes that have fatalities, something is broken.
But critical investigations are sometimes done hundreds of miles away from the crash sites, and experts say that decision could impact aviation safety and leave families without answers.
It felt like nobody really cared.
Then getting creative to crack the case.
With the application of some boiling water, I could temporarily enhance the ridge detail of the print.
How detectives used a common household product to help solve a months-long mystery.
Plus, what was once a misunderstood diagnosis is now part of life for millions of families in the U.S. I'm Lee Zurich.
And I'm Tisha Powell. We take an in-depth look at the evolving science behind autism and how unwavering support from loved ones can help break barriers.
No matter what he accomplishes, he has worth and he is important.
In-depth stories that inform and inspire. You're watching Investigate TV Plus. Whether it's the cargo ship bridge collision in Maryland, the Alaska Airlines in-flight emergency, or the East Palestine, Ohio train derailment, when transportation accidents happen, investigators bearing 4 letters, NTSB, are tasked with figuring out what went wrong.
And while air travel remains the safest mode of transportation in America, when a plane does crash, critics say there's a problem. The National Transportation Safety Board doesn't have the money or manpower to examine every site.
Investigative reporter Josie Sturman examines why the independent agency in charge often leaves the initial on-site work to another group that's come under fire.
When disaster strikes on the rails, the road, in the water, and in the air, it's investigators with the NTSB who are tasked with figuring out what went wrong. The National Transportation Safety Board, created as an independent watchdog deliberately separate from the FAA and charged by Congress to investigate every aviation accident in America.
We called Genesee County Sheriffs. They're on the way.
But as it balances budget and staffing challenges, our national investigative team discovered the NTSB is often MIA from a critical piece of crash investigations, the on-scene response.
I couldn't believe it.
On October 2nd, 2020, Ellen Sturm was supposed to be hosting a birthday party with her longtime love, Steve Barnes. Before it even got started, a plane crash had her planning his funeral.
Everything okay up there?
Yes, sir. Fine.
Barnes, a prominent attorney and pilot, had gone to pick up his niece Liz in his private plane. 5 minutes after a transmission captured his last words of reassurance, his plane went down in a wooded area near the Buffalo airport, killing the pair on contact.
It's just like the 2 brightest lights extinguished.
The crash, by law, automatically igniting a federal investigation by the NTSB. But although the agency was at the helm, it wasn't on the ground. They blamed COVID, although federal policy said mission-critical travel was allowed. So the on-site investigation duties were left to the FAA, which did respond in person. Members of Congress called on the NTSB to examine the Barnes crash site itself, but no agency staff made the trip.
It felt like nobody really cared.
Our national investigative team discovered arm's-length investigations are a fairly common practice for the NTSB, even in cases where people are killed. With help from our partners at the Arnold Center for Investigative Journalism at Indiana University, we analyzed data from the agency's accident reports dating back to 2015. Our team found NTSB investigators didn't respond on scene to an average of at least 21% of fatal aircraft crashes each year, relying on FAA investigators to be their eyes and ears on the ground.
Some reports outlined a clear reason for investigators not to go. Things like pilot suicides, crashes into the ocean, or remote dangerous terrain that made examining wreckage impossible. Others had witnesses, video or radio recordings that gave the NTSB solid leads on a potential cause without seeing the scene. But that's not always the case.
You need to really have people that are focused on the subject at hand.
John Golia is a former NTSB board member. He's now raising concerns about the agency directing investigations using FAA staff from afar.
The FAA people go through an accident investigation course. but they don't do accident investigations for their full-time job.
And our team found evidence of big differences between the training and experience levels required for investigators working for the two agencies. Questions we raised about that and the lack of agency response to some specific deadly crashes we cited went unanswered by the NTSB.
I think most people, if they looked at this picture as a whole, would say the problem is not at the NTSB, it's not at the FAA. It rests with the people who allocate the resources for the job that they want done.
Resources are a real challenge. The FAA has more than 40,000 employees. The NTSB, about 400, roughly the same number they've had since the 90s, going decades without significant increases in funding to help them expand despite repeated pleas.
The NTSB needs the resources to carry out our vital safety mission.
That mission, investigating approximately 1,200 aircraft accidents each year, with only about 50 on-scene investigators.
Now, ideally, if we had 1,000 investigators, we could launch to, 1,000 accidents. That's not realistic. So what we need to do as a board is to utilize the resources that we do have.
That's why Joe Sedor, the NTSB's chief technical advisor, says even when there's a fatality, the agency has to make strategic decisions about whether putting its own investigator in the field is necessary or if another party can handle it.
We'll have a direct contact with the investigator that goes, and it will be a collaborative effort of deciding what to do.
But it's that collaboration that has some critics sounding alarms about the NTSB and FAA being too close for comfort. The FAA has its own mission, along with a growing list of questions to answer about oversight in the wake of the Boeing scandals and Alaska Airlines door incident.
Right now, there's no faith in the system.
For Ellen Sturm, it's a system that has failed to deliver answers for her family. The cause of the crash that killed Steve and Liz Barnes is still a mystery, listed as a failure to maintain control for undetermined reasons.
Why did it drop from the sky? I still don't feel like I know.
Our team spent months contacting congressional leaders and key transportation leaders to discuss our findings and the need for additional NTSB funding. None agreed to an interview.
Still to come, a bitter winter bears new life and a unique business opportunity.
We've got all those babies on the ground in the middle of winter. I thought we need help picking them up, snuggling them.
We'll show you farmers' inspiring smiles with snuggle sessions.
But first, a mystery solved with the help of a solvent.
It takes away all the water. That way it can scan nicely.
How a high-tech scanner and a household product led investigators to crack a cold case.
You can watch Investigate TV Plus anytime, streaming online. Get the app for Roku, Amazon Fire TV, and Apple TV. They're free to download. For more than a century, fingerprints have been used to identify people in the U.S. Finding a match can take hours or even days. Now, a new high-tech tool can give state and local departments an answer in just minutes. But since not every print is easily scanned, detectives are using old-school tricks to connect the dots.
Investigative reporter Sarah Goldenberg explains how the forensic technique solved a case in Akron, Ohio, with something you've probably got hanging about the house.
In the heart of the city, just outside of the University of Akron, someone discovered human remains in the brush back in February, near this bridge by train tracks. Investigators with the Summit County Medical Examiner's Office headed to the scene.
And in this case, there was not much information. It was very skeletonized remains with some clothing, but really no personal effects or identification attached to the body.
Dr. Robert Schott, Chief Deputy Medical Examiner, says they estimated this John Doe had been dead since the fall. One possible clue in the case, he was found right near a homeless shelter called Haven of Rest.
We're trying to identify who is this person. We don't even know if there's any injury or trauma. So we take a series of x-rays. We're looking for bullets, any kind of weapons that may be in the body anywhere, like a knife tip, stuff like that. And anything that could give us an idea is there's a traumatic death.
They found he had dental fillings, but they had no x-rays to compare those two. After cleaning up his clothing, they found he wore sizes 5 and 6 extra large.
The fact that his physical description did not miss any reported missing people. That tells us something. Maybe he's estranged from family, maybe he's not local to this area.
Investigators couldn't get fingerprints because of decomposition, so they sent his DNA samples to a BCI lab. It takes weeks to get those results back. Meanwhile, Jason Grom, a forensic death investigator, tried something new.
At the Miami-Dade Medical Examiner's Office, there was a training put on by the FBI.
Just back from a 2-day conference on fingerprinting techniques, Grom decided to try out what he just learned.
With the application of some boiling water, I could temporarily enhance the ridge detail of the print.
Then he used new technology, a fingerprint scanner, and a common household item to pick up that detail and get his fingerprints.
Anything with water on it it won't read appropriately. You won't get a nice clear print. But WD-40, being WD is water displacement, it takes away all the water. That way it can scan nicely.
These new fingerprint scanners at the Summit County Medical Examiner's Office, they're connected to databases with Ohio BCI and the FBI. 2 fingerprints, one from each hand, can get a hit from the databases if the person had a criminal history, identifying them in a minute or 2. In this case, Grom got a hit back, and BCI confirmed this man's identification.
What did that feel like to see that it worked?
I was proud of my work. I was happy that I could make good with my skills and able to enhance the fingerprint and be able to put a name to the person and, of course, notify family of their loved ones.
Thanks to a new technique and new technology, investigators gave John Doe his name back, Emil Joseph Colosimo, 54 years old. He was from the Cleveland area and last known to be homeless around Akron.
It's for the family, it's for closure, it's for letting the people know who really need to know.
The Summit County Medical Examiner's Office said this case will be considered closed, even though the cause and manner of his death may still be undetermined due to the condition of the remains. In Cleveland, Ohio, I'm Sarah Goldenberg.
The fingerprint scanners are mobile and easier to bring out in the field.
And Ohio investigators say the scanners will only match people with a criminal history.
It does give you information as to what their criminal history is, their name, any scars or markings that they have, so we can also use that to help verify that this is the person. If they've got a tattoo, it'll tell you where it is. It doesn't tell you what the tattoo is.
Detectives say the match is not always used as official identification, but rather a clue to help detectives track down a name.
The families definitely get anxious, waiting to hear. They've many times have been calling places to see, have you seen my loved one? Do you know where they're at? And for us to be able to say in a much faster turnaround time that, yes, we have found your loved one, I am sorry for your loss, but we at least know where that person is.
The Summit County Medical Examiner's Office started with 2 fingerprint scanners, and a grant covered the $8,000 cost.
They said within 2 months of using the scanners, they helped with IDs in 17 cases.
Still ahead, insight into the spectrum of autism.
People with autism are as different as people without autism.
How recognizing the differences and treating the disorder can help children reach untapped potential.
Our in-depth coverage continues. You can get connected to Investigate TV Plus on all social media platforms. Identifying autism has become more common than 25 years ago.
The CDC reports in the year 2000, 1 in 150 children had autism spectrum disorder. In 2020, the number was 1 in 36 children.
And the diagnosis more common in boys. For every 1 girl identified with autism, 3 boys are as well. Reporter Lauren Lowry takes an in-depth look at how the understanding of the condition has developed.
Plus, a family in Nashville shares how this complex diagnosis comes with a wide range of implications.
Very good. This is what support looks like for 5-year-old Reed Nagy.
Put in. Cool.
His speech is only just emerging, but he's been doing therapies to help him communicate since he was 1 year old.
What made you think that something might be wrong? Reed he just was so much slower. He wasn't, moving as much. He wasn't talking as much. He wasn't doing a lot of the things that now I see is more a typical trajectory.
Reed was diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder, a neurological condition that affects a person's social and communication abilities and sometimes brings repetitive behavior and sensory sensitivities. But the way it presents always varies.
People with autism are as different as people without autism. So almost every presentation of autism is unique. There's no one-size-fits-all approach to thinking about autism or in giving a diagnosis of autism.
Current research has identified over 200 genetic components to autism, and the CDC estimates the number of children diagnosed is now 1 in 36.
Why do we see such a huge growth in the number of people?
We are just doing a better job of recognizing it. We're picking up on it, we're listening to families, we're putting better systems into place to screen children for these differences.
Pizza, pizza party.
For 5-year-old Reed, genetic testing after the autism diagnosis revealed the full picture. A duplicated 15th chromosome caused a rare condition known as DUP15Q.
It involves usually an autism diagnosis, definitely developmental delays. Intellectual disability is always a part of it too, and then epilepsy.
Yeah, swimming later.
What does the future look like for Reed? That's a hard one. We know that he'll be dependent for life.
Red bubbles, open red.
I know he will have a life of value. This whole experience has shown us that no matter what he does, no matter what he accomplishes, he has worth and he is important.
If you have a concern for your child, start with your pediatrician. They can order genetic testing and recommend autism specialist or therapist.
Up next, they're cute, cuddly, and therapeutic.
There's a lot in this world that's beyond our control, and whatever you can do to find peace and serenity.
Goat ranchers share the benefits of getting up close and personal with the furry farm animals.
Spending time with animals can be good for our health.
The simple act of petting a furry four-legged friend releases an automatic relaxation response. It can help lower anxiety, reduce loneliness, and increase mental stimulation. The benefits have led to unique business opportunities for some. Heard of doing yoga with goats?
Reporter Kim Clark shows us how Tennessee farmers and their kids are inspiring joy.
There's something about a goat. They're social and smart and have a mind of their own.
They've got a lot of personality. You can watch them figure things out as they problem solve, and they've just got a lovable nature about them.
Colin Champagne and his wife Lindsay own Walk-A-Pony Goat Ranch in Rossville, Tennessee, about 45 minutes outside Memphis.
Before we bought this place and it was time to bring the horses here, we walked the ponies down the road to the ranch, and it kind of was the official opening of animals on our ranch.
In operation since 2010, the Champagnes decided to add more animals to their homestead and began breeding and selling goats, mostly as a hobby. All was well until one cold, wintry day when a baby boom hit the ranch.
Well, out of that group of 20 in January 2021, all of my females decided to have babies at one time. So we ended up having 28 babies born in a 10-day period. My herd more than doubled. So when got all those babies on the ground in the middle of winter, I thought, we need help picking them up, snuggling them, getting them used to people's, like, just handling. So when we sold them into pet homes, they were friendly already.
The solution? Open up the ranch and invite people in to help snuggle with the kids.
In midst of COVID during that time, we offered socially distanced little visits, not knowing that it would snowball into this.
That snowball is now called 901 Goats, offering baby goat snuggles on the ranch.
So we ended up having more and more people call and ask if they could come and just hang out with our goats. And I thought, well, sure, we'll have fun with this. Why not? Everyone needs to smile. Once we started doing that and COVID restrictions were lifting, I thought, well, this will die down. We'll return to our normal day job and this will just go back to normal. No, that's when we started getting busier. People started asking us to pick up and start up goat yoga.
901 Goats also visits elderly shut-ins, birthday parties, sometimes even weddings.
Pretty much, if you can dream it up, we help make it happen.
You might wonder, as did I before I experienced it for myself, why snuggle or even do yoga with a baby goat?
You ran because I stopped petting you.
So animal therapy is a true thing. Laughter therapy is a true thing. And you can get goats in the mix. You've got both of that. And it's just really good. Just helps with the adrenaline release and calming down and just all around smile and feel good.
As for the future of Wakaponi Goat Ranch, the Champagnes plan to grow their goat milk soap operations and venture into dairy supply. But for now, these fuzzy snuggles are the star attraction.
There's a lot in this world that's beyond our control, and whatever you can do to find peace and serenity. And that's why I think we got into the goats as big as we did, because there is something about them. Even when you're doing work out there in the field and they're around you, they keep you grounded and help you not worry about things as much.
I'm on to you.
Well, those goats were really cute, but the cutest thing, her t-shirt.
I know. Say
Mama.
She was saying that through the whole story as she was
so
watching
adorable.
it. It's great. It's a
Yeah.
great t-shirt. The t-shirt made it. I agree.
Yes. Well, that's going to do it for us on Investigate TV Plus. I'm Tisha Powell.
We're off to do goat yoga. I'm Lee Zurich. Thanks for watching. On the next Investigate TV Plus, renters fight back as millions of Americans are being priced out of their homes.
There's actually no county in this country where a person earning minimum wage and working full-time can afford a 2-bedroom apartment.
We take an in-depth look at the growing crisis to find affordable housing.